He's come to the rescue of the Jefferson area Tea Party when they've needed him the most, but most importantly, he's been there for his beautiful wife, Cody, when she's needed him the most. He's representing the board, I guess, of the Jefferson area Tea Party, as well as the Albemarle County GOP. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Peters.
I'd like to tell you to save the best to last, but it's not true. But I do appreciate being able to be up here, speak to you after all the other great speakers that we've had. I want to wish you a nice evening, fellow patriots. Does anybody know what July 16th is? That's your cost of government day. It's what you slave away to pay for the government regulations and taxes, both local, state, and federal. 64 days, your first 64, pay for the regulations. The other 164, you slave away to pay for your taxes. Heck, we got rid of a king just because of some damn tea tax. Our founding fathers gathered around squares like this, in taverns and in churches, over 238 years ago. These very lands, and they decided a course of freedom, from oppression, from a government out of touch, removed, that refused to listen to the people. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Of course it does. Our founding fathers warned us about this ahead of time. Thomas Jefferson told us, "I predict the future of happiness for Americans if they prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of caring for them." Our inalienable rights are embedded in our founding documents. And they can only exist as long as we are a vigilant and moral people. And we recognize those rights come from somebody far above government and ourselves. And we cannot allow the federal government to bully us and take them away from us by excess spending, over-regulation, and stifling taxes. Yes, there's a bully in the schoolyard, and it's called the government. It's in our homes, it's in our businesses, and yes, Obama has put it in our churches. They're not here to help you, but they are there to force you to surrender your liberties and freedoms for the promise of government largesse. Let me share a couple historic facts with you. We've had 3 waves of progressive liberalism in this country. Obama's trying for the 4th. The first one was Wilson in 1913. They called it the New Freedom Platform. You got progressive taxes. That's where you lost your rights in the Senate, because now your senators are elected by a public in the entire state. They're no longer a seat at the table to save the state's rights. You lost that in 1913. FDR in 1933. Everybody's here. I don't have to tell you about FDR and what he did. I'm not going to go into the litany of alphabet things that we got from him. LBJ and the Great Society program, Medicare, Medicaid. Oh, that's when the federal government says, I'm here to help you. I'm going to give you some money for your public schools, and then control every damn thing you do in them. Each wave of these progressive liberal thoughts, they thought they would know better than you did, how to live your lives, how to raise your families, forcing citizens to exchange their liberties for government handouts. How did this happen? How did we go from a safety net to a government hammock for anybody that wanted it? We did it with other people's money. Well, you run out of that eventually. And another great man who traveled lands 200 years ago to Tocqueville told us that. He wondered in amazement at the American people, the freedoms that we had, the energies that we had. But he warned us about one thing. He said the American Republic will endure until Congress discovers that it can bribe the public with public money. Obama turned to the left. We told him we didn't want what he was offering us. We sent 1,000,007 people up to DC. We eviscerated the Democrats in the 2010 elections. They lost the House. They had historic losses in the state senates and legislatures throughout this land. They lost governorships. Did it stop them? No. They didn't take no for an answer. Obama is determined to give us the fourth wave, and we have to stop him. What did he do when he's lost the power of the House? He's had Harry Reid block everything coming out of the House. And he sits on his imperial throne giving us edicts, proclamations, executive orders, and oppressive regulations. A political war is upon you. It's waged by Obama's takers. It's against the producers in this country, stoked by the fires of envy and class warfare. Prepare yourself, because they've declared war on you, whether you want to participate or not. Americans are patient. They're slow to anger. I have had enough. Have you had enough? Yeah. Enough of this? I'm going to read a couple things and you can join along where you click the appropriate spot. I think you'll get it. To Obamacare, when 65% wanted to repeal it and 1.7 marched to Washington, we just say no. To trillion-dollar stimulus plans that fail, we just say no. To raising taxes on producers and class warfare, we just say no. To Obama's open threats of bankrupting our legal coal electrical power plants, we just say no. To union bailouts and government motors, we just say no. To Energy Secretary's Chu goal of $9 European gas, we just say no. To Obama's worthless energy schemes like Solyndra, where he does payback to his political cronies, we just say no. To the EPA, regarding the CO2 that you and I all exhale, calling it a dangerous greenhouse gas, we just say no. To Attorney General, who says some citizens are more equal than others, we just say no. To bailouts for Obama's Wall Street cronies like Goldman Sachs, we just say no. To an Obama second term and out-of-control federal government, we just say no. November is coming again. They have not listened. They have to be entirely removed. They say exercise is good for us. I say it's good for our country for you to exercise your rights and gather all your fellow patriots and show up in November, because that is the only thing they will listen to. Exercise your rights to keep your freedoms and independence for not only yourself, your children, but your grandchildren. Your founding fathers gave everything to give us our freedoms. What will you give? What will you do to maintain what remains of them in this country? Get angry, but above all else, stand up. Stand up for your liberties. Get involved in the political process. This is the most important election in your lifetime and probably the country's history. We have a path to choose. The path is freedom and liberties, or the path is European static socialism. You will choose, and you will choose in November. Thank you.